Imagine waking up one day and you find out that millions of people's personal and financial data, including yours, was stolen. Not by some genius hacking plot put together in some dark room, but through something you won't suspect, an air conditioning repair company. Sounds like a movie plot, right? Well, it's not. In 2013, hackers broke into Target's system, causing one of the biggest data breaches in history. But get this, they didn't attack Target directly. No. They got in through a small HVAC company that had access to their systems. Now, let that sink in for a second. A multi-billion-dollar corporation brought to its knees by a company that fixes air conditioners. So here is the real question for you. If that could happen to Target, what vulnerabilities are lurking in your business? And that's exactly why GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, is so critical. If you want to truly thrive in cybersecurity, mastering GRC skills is a game changer. And in this video, we're diving into the top 5 GRC skills you need to crush it in the industry. No matter where you are in your career, let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Tolulope Michael, cybersecurity expert, multiple six-figure career coach, and of course, your host. If this video helps you in any way at all, don't forget to like, subscribe. Know that risks are everywhere in cybersecurity, but risk management, being a key part of GRC, is more than just reacting to threats. It's about anticipating them before they hit and making smart decisions to protect your organization. Let's say you are a small business owner managing your own bakery. You've got a solid security system in place to protect your recipes, customer data, and finances. But one day, your delivery company, who you trust with all your supplies, gets hacked. Suddenly, because of their breach, your own systems are vulnerable and all your customer data is exposed. You didn't do anything wrong, but a weak point in a trusted third-party partner caused chaos in your business. This example ties perfectly to what happened to Target. Now think about your own organization. What weak links, similar to the HVAC company, are you overlooking? And what threat could they pose to your organization? And that's why the very first skill we're looking at in this video is risk management. This is the bedrock of any GRC role. The lesson here is that risk isn't just about direct attacks on your systems. It's about recognizing the hidden vulnerabilities in the partners, processes, and people you rely on every day. Similar to Target, the shipping giants took a hit they didn't see coming too. In 2017, they got hit by the NotPetya ransomware attack. This attack cost them over $300 million in damages and brought their global operations to a standstill. It wasn't because they didn't have cybersecurity measures, it was because they didn't anticipate the political risk that led to the attack. One weak point in their system, one small oversight in their risk assessment, and their entire network collapsed. If you would like to master risk management, you need to first learn one thing, and that is how to identify. This basically means you've got to know where your risks are. Is it a third-party vendor? Is it an insider threat? Could it be a geopolitical event? If you can't spot the risk, you can't manage it. It's really that simple. After identifying, the next thing you do is to assess your risk. You've identified the risk. Here's the question. How big is the threat? Is it something that could shut down the whole company? Or is it a smaller issue that you can fix with minimal disruption? This then ultimately leads to prioritizing. You can't fix everything at once, so you need to know which risk to address first. Prioritize the ones that could cause the most damage and deal with them before they become disasters. Risk management is all about staying a step ahead, anticipating the worst so you can safeguard your business from unexpected shocks. This skill isn't just for those working in a SOC or IT department. Risk management is for everyone who wants to move up in cybersecurity because at a high level, it's about understanding the bigger picture. The focus is not just on the tech, but also on the business, the finances, and the long-term strategy. And that's why risk managers get a seat at the table with executives, because they help protect what matters most to the organization. Let's revisit the Target breach. Remember, the attackers didn't hack Target directly. They exploited the weak security of a third-party vendor, right? Now, which brings us to the skill number 2, which is vendor risk management. If your vendors don't have solid security, your company is vulnerable. It doesn't matter how much money you've spent on firewalls or intrusion detection systems. If a vendor with access to your systems is hacked, you are exposed. The downside to all this is the fact that businesses are more interconnected than ever. Whether it's cloud services, software providers, or even consultants, most companies rely on third-party vendors. But that also means they are relying on the vendor security measures. To be on top of your vendor risk management game, you need to understand 3 major points: evaluation, monitoring, and contingency creation. Now let's start with evaluation. This is where you really dig into your vendors before they even come on board. Ask yourself, what kind of data are they handling? Do they have the right security protocols in place? How seriously do they take cybersecurity? You need to assess not just their services, but also their security practices. Now, for example, if a vendor is handling sensitive customer data, you want to ensure they have robust encryption, access controls, and are compliant with relevant regulations. Now, think of it as an interview where you're not just interested in what they do, but how well they protect your business. Now, following right behind evaluation is monitoring. Just because a vendor passed the initial check doesn't mean your job is done. Risks evolve, and so should your relationship with your vendors. You need continuous monitoring of your vendor security practices. Are they keeping their systems up to date? Have there been any breach or incident that could put your data at risk? This ongoing vigilance helps see to it that what was once a secure partner remains a secure partner. And then the last part of this trio is contingency creation. Things go wrong. Vendors might suffer a breach, and it's crucial you have a plan in place for when that happens. This includes creating a contingency plan with clear steps on how to respond to vendor-related security incidents. How quickly can you cut off access? What communication protocols do you have in place for your team and customers? Being prepared for worst-case scenarios is what will protect your company when something slips through the cracks. Look at Deloitte. Hackers accessed Deloitte system through a weak point in their email platform, which was hosted by third-party services. The gist is, it's not just about your own security. The real question is, how secure are the guys you're doing business with? That's the real deal. The long and short of it is that mastering vendor risk management gives you the ability to foresee problems others don't. If you can prevent a breach that starts with a vendor, you're not just a tech person, you're a strategic asset to the company. And let's face it, businesses are willing to pay a premium for professionals who can get things done. So, slowly but surely, we've arrived at skill number 3, and it's none other than regulatory compliance. We know every industry has its own set of rules and regulations when it comes to cybersecurity, and if your company isn't following them, you are calling for big trouble. Take British Airways, for example. In 2020, they were fined £20 million for failing to protect customer data. They didn't comply with the GDPR, and that's what cost them big time. And this is where GRC professionals shine. Yes, when you understand regulatory requirements for your industry and ensure company meets them, you are positioning yourself as a crucial player in avoiding those risks. Regulatory compliance knowledge is like a superpower in GRC cycles, making you an indispensable part of your team. See, to really be a top player at this, you need to know the laws, implement controls, and report like everything depends on it. Now, let's unpack these 3 elements for a bit. Basically, what this means is that GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS are just a few of the regulation companies have to comply with. You need to understand what applies to your own industry. This knowledge is what helps you steer clear of costly legal troubles. Then, you also have to make sure your company has the right security measures in place to meet these regulations. Whether it's encryption, access control, or regular audit, the controls have to be up to standard. The better your controls, the stronger your organization's compliance posture. Plus, compliance isn't just about having the controls, you have to document them. If an auditor asks for proof, you need to be ready with reports, logs, and records that show your company is in full compliance. There is also the fact that good reporting is your way of proving compliance and building trust with regulators and stakeholders alike. But you might want to ask, what does this skill really mean for your career? Correct? Cool. You see, regulatory compliance is one of the most critical skills in GRC. Businesses can face massive fines or even shut down if they fail to comply with industry regulations. By becoming an expert in this area, you position yourself as someone who can save the company from not only financial loss but also reputation damage. It's a really cool skill to have, if you ask me, honestly. Now, another cool skill you should be interested in gaining is audit management. Though some of you may find that debatable, but allow me use this analogy. Just imagine for a moment that you've got a dentist appointment coming up, right? But you haven't been flossing at all. You know the dentist is going to ask. And you also know your gums are about to put on a bloody show. But the truth is, you would rather deal with that awkward moment than end up in needing a root canal because you skipped out on checkups, right? That's kind of what an audit feels like in GRC. See, for sure, nobody loves having someone poke around in your systems, pointing out where you've missed a security patch or left a gap. But it's better than waiting for a full-on cybersecurity meltdown, okay? An audit is like that dentist visit. It might sting a little now, but it's saving you from much bigger pain down the road. A 2021 study found that 73% of companies uncovered major issues during their internal audit. Now imagine if they had not checked. That's like skipping the dentist for years and suddenly realizing you need a full-blown dental work. So, while audits may feel like an uncomfortable process, trust me, they are essential for keeping your systems healthy. Now, for audit management, there are steps to it. The steps to master is preparation, identifying weaknesses, and communicating results. You need to master those three. First, make sure everything is in order before the audit begins. Security controls should be documented and tested, okay? Then, use the audit to identify any weaknesses or gaps in your system. Once you've identified weaknesses, fix them before they become bigger problems. Finally, you will need to clearly communicate the result to higher ups, explaining what's been found, how you are addressing it, and what's being done to prevent similar issues in the future. By following these steps, you will ensure your organization stays protected and in compliance too. Now, one major benefit of having audit management skills is that it puts you in the spotlight. This is because you're responsible for keeping the company accountable and ensuring that security measures are being followed. If you can show that your audits are catching problems before they become major issues, you just became a star. Finally, let's talk about skill number 5, Business Continuity Plan, BCP. This skill is all about making sure that no matter what happens, whether it's a cyber attack, a natural disaster, or a system failure, your company can keep running. Remember the 2014 hack on Sony Pictures? Cool. Hackers wiped out the company's data, but Sony had a business continuity plan in place that allowed them to recover quickly. Without that plan, Sony could have been down for weeks, if not months, losing millions of dollars in revenue. Now, to become a pro at business continuity plan, you should be able to identify critical functions. That means you have to figure out which part of the business needs to keep running no matter what. This could be your payment system, customer service, or even your internal communications. Then after that, for every function, you need to have a backup plan. What happens if your main server goes down? Do you have cloud backups? Can employees work remotely? Now, you don't just want to create a plan, you need to test it. This will guarantee that when disaster strikes, your backup plans actually work. Interestingly, BCP is a skill that not many people in cybersecurity focus on, but it's one of the most valuable. If you can keep a company running during a crisis, you're not just valuable, you're essential. Because in today's business space where downtime equals lost revenue, BCP professionals are worth their weight in gold. And you definitely want to tap into that. Guys, there you have it, the top 5 skills you need to master in cybersecurity. I hope you had as much fun watching as I did sharing all that with you. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, share with someone who could use this information, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And if you have any questions or stories to share, drop them in the comment. I would love to hear from you. I hope I've been able to leave you better than I met you. Stay safe, stay sharp, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.